my conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some darker people or some poor, hungry people in the mud for big, powerful America and shoot them for what? They never called me nigger. They never lynched me. They never put no dogs on me. They never robbed me of my nationality, raped and killed my mother and father. Well, I'm going to shoot them for what? How can I go shoot them? Them little poor little black people, little babies and children and women. How can I shoot them poor people? I would just take me to jail.
I'm sure it was a part of all of our anger. When we were in Vietnam, we had an enemy over there. The North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong. That was our enemy. When we came home, we felt as if we were betrayed by our government and betrayed by the media and betrayed by the population, by our country. So, you know, if you want to know who I thought my enemy was when I came home, I would say, you're my enemy.
Ali more than held his own against students who had a far better formal education than he.
I'm saying you talking about me about some draft, and all of you white boys are breaking your neck to get to Switzerland and Canada and London. I'm not going to help nobody get something my Negroes don't have. If I'm going to die, I'll die now, right here fighting you. If I'm going to die, you my enemy. My enemy is the white people, not Viet Congs or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home.
People who stayed here, civilians who stayed here. When I came home, I was subject to a lot of ridicule, verbal abuse. And I'm sure Richard was too. Other guys that I served with in Nam came home to the same thing.
With people protesting. First of all, why were they protesting the soldiers? Soldiers are just doing their job. You want to protest, go to Washington and go protest your politicians.
Yeah.
Why would you, the guys who were just out there?
These are people that, you know, they're looking for something to protest about. They really don't know what the heck they're protesting about. They just want to do it, you know, and get their name in the news or whatever, but they didn't know. I'll bet you money they don't know what the heck they were talking about. But it was hurtful, you know. And nobody wanted to talk, you know. One of the things that they tell us to do is to talk about, you know, our situations, you know, and nobody wanted to hear it. And so we bottled it in. I mean, we went back to work, and when we got back, you know, and we bottled it all in. We never said a word. Nobody wanted to hear it. And when I talked about it, it was almost like they didn't believe me, you know, because seeing war in the movies and being in a war is two different things, you know. I mean, there's no music, sound, and special effects, you know. It's just war, 24/7. But nobody really wanted to hear what we had gone through, you know. And it was almost like I didn't want to tell it because I didn't think they'd believe me, you know.
Did it feel real or just?
Well, we didn't know what we were going to really get into when we left Fort Campbell. We found out in a hurry, especially in 1968 when the third offense was kicked off.
Can I ask you a personal question? I'll say, sure. What happened to you? You know, and I'll say Vietnam.
Came back to a country that had changed its mind, and we got lost in the cracks.
I built a prison around myself. Put up the walls, and I wouldn't let anybody else in, and I wouldn't let myself out.
When I got back from Vietnam, I couldn't laugh anymore. Jokes were not funny. I became so taken with the experience that I had been through that I thought I'd never laugh again. And I seldom do.
I've had people tell me, man, wash that out of your mind. That's in the past. Forget that. It's just not a thing that you say, all right, wake up one morning, I'm gonna forget it's gone. You know, don't think about it. It doesn't happen.
Wounded physically, I was blown up by incoming mortar. Got a purple heart for it. But mentally, I'm wiped out.
One of the criticisms was that they brought us home too fast. I wanted to come home, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to get home as quick as I could, but in retrospect, Like the guys in World War II, it took them 3 months to come home on a freighter, and they had a chance to sit around and talk about some of their feelings and some of their experiences and compare notes and have guys say, yeah, Jesus, that's the way I feel too, and have you say to me, yeah, that's the way I feel, and be reassured that everybody else is feeling exactly the same way I am.
There's survival guilt and 1,000 other things, and it's just things that we've tried not to face. We've avoided. And things that we've tried not to face. We've avoided.